I'm addicted to my phone. In this... Okay. Let's do it again. Hello everyone, it's Seeking Jess and I hope you're doing amazing. Counting calories. Something that I feel a lot of people know and also a lot of people don't want to talk about. In this video I would like to talk about why I don't cut calories anymore and why it has literally saved me from a lot of mental and physical pain, I would say. In order to understand the context, I would first like to say that when I used to be younger, I think around 15 years old, I started getting into like working out and realizing like, okay, if I eat too much sugar or if I eat too many cake parts. If I eat too much sugar or if I eat too many, cakes or too many pieces of cake or anything that everyone knows is not good for you, such as, refined carbs, like donuts and cakes and fried stuff and all of that stuff that everyone knows is unhealthy. If I eat too much of that, I will be, first of all, unhealthy and I will probably in the long term gain weight. So I was aware of that when I was 15 years old and I started getting into exercise, and I was doing the exercise more because I wanted to be skinny than because I thought it was good for me and my body. When I used to be younger, I hated sports. In school, literally, that was like, I think I had like A's and B's everywhere, and in sports it was like a C or a D sometimes because I really hated it. I hated when someone told me what to do and I needed to do it, and if my posture wasn't right, I would, get a bad grade. I don't know how it was with your school, but with my school, it always was like that, you had to do something and then they grade you based on how you do it. From gymnastics to playing basketball and even like those kind of sports that I actually enjoyed outside school, I started hating. Anyways, that's not the point. So yeah, so with time, I started getting very obsessed with food, with exercise, and sometimes what would happen is that if I, for example, would eat too much, I would kind of compensate it with working out more. So for example, I remember it vividly. This one evening I had a chocolate bar or something, and then after I had the chocolate bar, I felt guilty and I went on the bike. I had like this bike at home. I went on the bike for like an hour and I was counting the calories. Like I looked at the bar, I was like, okay, so many calories that I ate, I need to burn them now. So I would get into the bike and burn those calories. Looking back, it was very unhealthy because everything that I ate, I was kind of counting, trying to stay under my daily recommended calorie intake, and always trying to, make sure that I in no way exceed the amount of calories that I can consume. And if I did, I would work out twice as hard. And it got to the point where I was very, sick and restrictive. And I remember going to school and sometimes all that I had for lunch was a few pieces of carrots and peppers that I would cut up because I didn't want to eat more. And I would have school from morning 7 till 8 till in the evening like 5 or 6 sometimes. So I would come home pretty late and that's all I had the whole day, plus breakfast, which was a little bit of cereal or something like this. And I remember being so weak, feeling so weak, not being lightheaded. Being lightheaded, not being able to think in school properly. And then I would come home and I would feel so sick. My mom would always prepare food for me, but in the evening she would usually be at work, so I would be by myself or with my dad. And because of not being able or not eating that much throughout the day, I felt sick when I had to eat a bigger portion because my stomach shrinked so much that I couldn't take more than what I just couldn't eat that much anymore. So I remember being in this very vicious cycle of restricting myself, and then what would happen a lot of times on the weekends is I would binge eat, and I would binge eat a lot of food until I got very sick, and I would literally eat everything that was at home. So yeah, I was in this cycle of not being able to find a balance of what's good for you, what I can eat, and I can stay healthy and slim and without having to restrict myself. And I just never knew. And I mean, I don't blame anyone, because I feel like I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that went through this. And I'm still to this day at times deal with that mindset where I have to stop myself and be like, hey, this is okay. This is food. This is energy that you put into your body, and your body needs it. And if you eat that piece of cake, you're not gonna immediately gain weight. Fast forward to when I became vegan, and basically a lot of things in my life changed, including the way I look at food. The moment that I turned vegan, I was completely new, right? I had no idea how diverse veganism is. What I would do in the beginning is I did a little bit of wrong research, and I was looking into vegans that had specific diets, and I thought that's the way I had to eat. And so after a while, I started eating in a way that wasn't suitable for my body, and I would overeat as well. And it doesn't matter what you eat. You can eat 20 bananas a day, which for some people might be considered overeating. You will gain weight. I started gaining weight because I wasn't aware of that. I thought vegans need to eat more because you cut out specific foods, so I need to compensate with eating more. That was the kind of mindset that I had, which was completely wrong, of course, because I started gaining weight. But also in addition to that, I was also eating a lot of junk food, because all of a sudden I realized, hey, all of this amazing food is actually vegan, and I really wanted to try new things. I was living in Barcelona back then, which has a lot of options, so I started eating a lot of things that I usually wouldn't eat anyways, but like a lot of, you know, fried things, burgers, donuts, all of that stuff, because I was like, hey, that's vegan, it can't be that bad, I will eat it. But at the end of the day, sugar is sugar, fat is fat, fried food is fried food. Just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's healthy. I kind of noticed, like, okay, it doesn't matter that I work out 2 hours a day, I'm still gaining weight, there's something that I'm doing wrong. And so I looked back at all the food that I was eating, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's clear I'm basically overeating. I'm also eating a lot of things that aren't good for my body, such as sugar, fried food, all of that stuff that your body really, really doesn't need. I switched to a whole food plant-based diet. And for those of you who don't know what a whole food plant-based diet is, you try to eat the less processed possible. You don't eat any fried things. You usually try not to eat, for example, those vegan substitutes for meat or cheese or stuff like that. I do eat that once in a while because I sometimes enjoy them, but I would say 90% of my diet is very whole food plant-based. So it's a lot of fresh fruits, it's a lot of fresh vegetables, or like cooked potatoes, lentils, beans, all of that stuff that you would get very easily and very cheap in a supermarket. So it's nothing that has added sugars, that has added fat or added salt, nothing like that. And since I started eating that, I realized my body slowly started adapting to that, and I started craving those foods more. And also with that, I started getting a real like full moment. In the beginning, I really had I had problems realizing, when am I full, when am I satisfied, when do I stop eating. Whereas now, because I slowly started adapting my body to whole foods, I started feeling, you know, better, and I know when I can stop eating. The great thing about a whole food plant-based diet is also that I like to eat a lot of food, right? I really, really enjoy eating. I really do. So I really need something satisfying that I can feel in my stomach, that I'm filled up, and that I'm happy to stop eating. And with my whole food plant-based diet, I didn't feel restricted. If I make some potatoes, I eat as much as I can until I'm full and I'm satisfied, and I stop eating, because you can't put more potatoes in your stomach. I mean, you could, but you would feel very sick. So with that time, I started learning to listen to my body. Now when we come to that point why I don't count calories, is because I remember how sick my mindset was, how much I had to count calories in order to feel like, you know, I needed to know how much I can eat. Now, for me, the most important thing is to nourish my body with the best nutrients that I can. So I always say, eat the rainbow. Eat all of the colors there's a reason why all of the vegetables and fruits have different colors, because they all have different functions for your body and nourish your body with different vitamins and minerals and all of that stuff. So as long as I eat the rainbow throughout the day, I feel the happiest and the healthiest and really full of energy. And I also must say, the moment that I stopped overeating, I started feeling better in the way that I started using the food that I put into my body as energy. Because the moment you overeat, you have too much energy in your body and you will feel tired and you don't want to do anything after you eat. But that is not the point of food. Food is supposed to be there to give you energy. So your body needs time to adapt to that kind of diet. But honestly, it's the easiest and simplest diet. Easy and simple, kind of is the same. But it's really, really easy. It's super satisfying as well. And it's so diverse. You can do so many different things. Like, a lot of people think it's very plain and very boring, but it's not the case. The amount of things that you can create in your kitchen is crazy. And trust me, I used to hate cooking. I hated cooking. But I remember I always thought that cooking has something to do with meat and fish being like the staple in a diet. So I remember I hated to prepare chicken. I hated having to cut it and fry it, and I never prepared fish because I just didn't enjoy doing that. So, and I always thought it's super boring, you know, having like meat and then a side, and I thought like there is nothing else to that. But since I'm vegan, I noticed how diverse it can be in a kitchen and how many different things you can create. And it's really a lot of fun. And also, if you think it's boring and plain, at least give it a try, because our taste buds, they adapt very quickly. And also our stomach, our gut adapts very quickly. So if there are certain foods that you think your body doesn't really digest well, and I know a lot of people, for example, can't take or lentils or beans or stuff like that, it's okay to, for example, start incorporating them into your diet bit by bit, because our gut is very complex but also very clever. And these foods are something that we used to eat for many, many years. So usually our stomach is able to adapt to that kind of food, and also our taste buds. And honestly, since I eat like that, I'm craving this kind of foods. I don't crave fatty foods anymore. I don't crave a chocolate bar or cake anymore. I very barely crave that, and there must be the time of the month when I crave it. And even then, I really enjoy a whole grain piece of bread with avocado on it, and I'm happy. I'm a happy girl. Or give me just a full, you know, bowl of fresh spinach and lettuce, and cut in the most like colorful vegetables in there. Top it with some avocados, with some Brussels sprouts, some nuts and seeds, and I'm happy. That's so simple, but I didn't feel better. I don't think I ever felt better. I don't think see, I can't even talk anymore. But anyways, that is the reason why I don't count calories, because I feel like I don't need to anymore because of the diet that I'm having. If you guys would like to see what kind of stuff I eat, I also have a few what I eat in a day videos on my channel, which you can check out. I will put the link down in the description box. And also, I have an Instagram account where I also post a lot of my food creations and a lot of other inspirations about, you know, food facts and fitness inspirations. So it would make me super happy if you would have a look over there, because I love connecting with you guys. And yeah, and if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, that would make me super happy. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.